What's up, everybody? How we doing? And welcome to the 20th installment of NBA Friday here on the Riverfront Media Network. We we got a fun show for you. Maybe current stuff isn't going to be super exciting because we're kind of in that gray area of like, for love of God, just start the playoffs. But we're gonna have some fun conversations today. Tim Daniel here with Sean Mackey with Parker Fields, and Parker, I have a bone to pick with you because last night during the Lakers Kings game, I took both of your picks for De'Aaron Fox and LeBron James, and
Yeah, and they played like shit.
yeah, I would like to request a refund of your services.
Literally. And the funny part is, literally, when they played a week ago, they both went for like 35 plus. And then, yeah, that couldn't tell you what happened last night. LeBron looked horrible until the fourth quarter, and De'Aaron Fox just kind of didn't really shoot the ball game, honestly. I think he took like 10 shots. He barely shot the ball.
I am on a losing streak, a bad one right now. So let's see what am I looking at tonight? I'll read you. I'll read you my tickets from tonight, just so we can kind of have some conversation here. Okay, not looking too bad right now. In the I got the Tyrese Maxey over 25.5, and he's got 18 right now in that game. They're in the third quarter. They're at halftime. And then I have Jalen Brunson tonight. They're playing at Portland for his over 25.5. So feel good against the Blazers that Jalen Brunson can get 26.
Yeah, I feel good about that. I
Yeah.
think he's got that.
I think I'm gonna get some of my money back.
I just hit a bet. What's it called? I had Oregon money line and I had who do you want? San Diego State money line, and both games came down to the last shot, and both rimmed out. So I won my money.
There you go.
Thank God. But it was very stressful. Right before this, I was like, "Oh my God," because UNLV came back from down 10 with like 2 minutes left and sent it to overtime. But thankfully, San Diego State won in overtime. Thank God.
Yeah. They have to have a good seed in the tournament. I like them a lot. But hey, next week we'll get you guys ready for March Madness. We'll talk about some of the players to look at for the NBA draft next week. But this week we're going to talk about some concerns for some potential contenders. Maybe a few other things in the current topics. Our flashback, we're going to laugh. We're going to talk a lot about the 10-year run that was the Charlotte Bobcats. How bad all of it was. Uniforms, logos, coaching, drafting.
Uniforms.
Oh my God. It is.
It's bad.
It's very bad. It's very, very bad. I sent you guys like a brief history via text yesterday, and I was laughing sending it. And then our draft, this was Parker's idea this week. It is the all-time pre-merger draft. So I did get confirmation that they had to just be drafted or into the NBA before the ABA merger. So yes, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will 1,000% be taken by one of the three of us in this draft. But
unless we forget, like Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, let's forget like Kobe and Shaq. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started here. Guys, so I think we should have done this thing, right? We're like, remember when the James Harden trade happened? We were like, this is stupid. The Clippers look dumb. They lost 8 in a row. Ha, ha, ha. The Clippers are the Clippers. And then they were like, actually, we're really, really good. And we're going to kick everyone's asses. And we did kick everyone's asses for months. I think everyone was like, oh, wow, the Clippers are for real. They're a title contender, myself included. I ate crow. That trade worked out great. And then things are starting to happen like they always do to the Clippers in this scenario, right?
We're back on the Clippers suck.
Yeah. So granted, they are up 11 right now on the Bulls at half as we're recording, but it's the Bulls. Let's just make sure we have that prep.
On a back-to-back, though. Give the Bulls some credit. They're on a back-to-back here.
And did they win yesterday? Was it the Indiana game? Yeah.
And there's no Kobe White.
And Kobe White's hurt. You're right. Who should probably win comeback player of the year and probably won't. But I mean, most improved player, but probably won't. That being
talk about.
Yeah, that's the big conversation. So Russell Westbrook's hurt. Kawhi Leonard's playing tonight, but he's starting to do this Kawhi thing where he's not playing all the time. This conversation of Paul George potentially going to the Pacers, even though we've kind of been like, I believe it when I see it, is getting more and more smoke as the season goes on. You heard a lot about it during the All-Star break for obvious reasons, because where the All-Star game was. But I think we all knew with this team that the only thing that could really destroy them, besides the fact that James Harden was there and he just ruins every locker room, was injuries. And they're starting to get a little bit of that injury bug. Not just those two, but Zubac has been in and out of the lineup. They've had a lot of things going on. So if you're a Clipper believer, if you bet on the Clippers to win the title, should you be concerned at this point?
Um, I mean, I would just be concerned by betting on the Clippers to win
Yeah.
that. To be honest with you, like even if they were 60-6 right now, I would still be concerned about that. But like, um, more concerned than before. I don't know. They haven't had a rough stretch, honestly, at all season since they got James Harden. Besides their first 5 or 6 games, so I wouldn't be that concerned. It's just a little lull. As long as they're healthy, actually healthy when the playoffs start, then I wouldn't be too concerned or any more concerned than you already were, is what I'm trying to say. But a bad thing for them right now is they're not locked in, but they're like 2 or 3 games out, I think, correct, from the 3 seed. Let me check.
Yeah, they're 3 games back
Yeah,
with
3
Minnesota.
games back.
Yeah, so that second round, they get a more favorable first round matchup, in my opinion, honestly, if they get the Pelicans than playing like the
Sure.
Kings,
Yeah.
Suns, Mavs, Lakers, one of those teams. Um, so I think they get a more favorable matchup in the first round, but now the Nuggets are rolling and it's looking like they might cruise to this 1 seed. And if you got to play the Nuggets in the second round, that's not good for them trying to get to that Western Conference Finals at least.
Do you think that would be a somewhat decent series though?
No.
Or do you think you think the
I think
Nuggets
they
would just
take them to
absolutely
6.
steamroll?
I think they take them to 6 because I think Kawhi Leonard is very, very good in the playoffs when he plays. I really do. So I think,
If he plays.
yeah. So if Kawhi's healthy, I think he wins 2 games just doing Kawhi things. Honestly,
Okay. I think that's fair. I would say 6 as well in a series like that. I think
I think they do what like the Suns did last year. Like they'll have a couple games where they go off and win the game, but like the Nuggets are obviously the better team.
Yeah, it's the Nuggets league still.
I mean, against the Pelicans, that's like you said, that's going to be just a wash. That'll be easy pickings for him. I would be super surprised if the Pelicans were able to beat the Clippers in a 7-game series.
And the only thing I'll say is Zion has actually looked like himself for
He's
a
looked
little
great.
while now.
Yeah,
He's
he has. But I don't trust their experience in any sort of situation like
Agreed.
that at all. And I don't trust Zion. You know, I love watching him play. Like I think he's so fun. I mean, he looks good and everything, but we never get enough of him. We just never get like consistent Zion Williams out there to like for me to be like, all right, this is it, you know?
Agreed. The one thing I will say I have noticed about the Pelicans, because I'm just looking at their game logs right now, they've been ramping up Zion's minutes lately. Because he's been playing like 30 minutes all year, like just pretty
Yeah.
much 30 minutes. He's at 35, 36,
5.
35 the last 3 games. So
Yeah.
it looks like, because obviously in the playoffs, rotations get shorter. You have to play your star players heavy minutes if you want to win a damn series. So it seems like this was kind of the plan to ramp up his minutes as the season goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about them too is like I could probably just piggyback on everything you guys said here is the experience. And that's not to say I kind of look at them as a team. So when Kevin was on a couple weeks ago, we talked about the Cavs, where it's like, no, I think the Cavs have to have the 2 seed to advance. I don't think if they drop to the 3 seed that they really have a shot. But they don't have to be all that successful right now. I think with what they're building, it sounds like there's no Donovan Mitchell moving on thing for them. They're going to make sure they court him. But like if they fall right now, they would play Philadelphia if the season ended today. Where right now they're playing Indiana, Miami, Chicago, or Atlanta. So it's kind of that thing. So like for the Clippers, I do really believe. So you mentioned how far out they are from Minnesota. They're just 2.5 games up on New Orleans and just 3.5 games up on Phoenix and Sacramento. So I do think they need to have
So
home
there
court
is
advantage.
a world that they could fall into the play-in. There's a
Yeah.
world. What's their schedule coming up too? Because I was looking at the Kings schedule yesterday, and the Kings schedule is very, very easy moving forward. And I believe the Suns is
Wizards.
Yeah.
Raptors.
So here's the Clippers for
the Pelicans got them tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. So the day this comes out, they go home for Atlanta. They got back to back in Portland.
Oh God, yeah, that's easy.
Philly, Indiana, at Philly, at Orlando, at Charlotte to end the month.
I'm not gonna lie, that's like every game to win. Like in terms of like just like looking at it, because I'm a Magic believer somewhat, but like I still think the Clippers should win that game.
Yeah, they should win that game for sure. And then they'll round out the season at Sacramento, home for Denver, home for Utah, home for Cleveland, at Phoenix, home for Utah, home for Houston. So schedule's definitely very favorable for the Clippers the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So that probably kind of helps in that conversation. But let's talk about another team that has just really shown the inability to all of a sudden to win, and that's the Miami Heat. And look, I'm going to preface this with this one thing. We know that they are zombies. We know that they do this. We know
Every
they did this
year. They did it last year.
and went to the finals. So I understand that someone's going to say, I'm not worried about it. And I understand that. But I'm going to point some things out about them to where maybe we should be. So obviously, Jimmy Butler says it's time to lock in. They do not look locked in. Last night, I think the score did not tell the story of how far apart the game was between them and Denver still won by double digits. And it's the Nuggets. So obviously they're, like we said, it's probably their league for another couple year or two. That's fine. But
they dropped a game to the Wizards with everybody healthy too. Well, outside of Hero. Hero has been out, but I think
Kuzma
Hero
had a great game, guys.
Hey, Kuzma slander will not be tolerated. He plays great every night. It's the rest of the roster. I'm just kidding. Did you guys see he posts like mixtapes after every game, and then people are like, imagine posting a highlight reel after a 30-point loss, but you dropped 25, so you post a.
That's what I always found so funny when he was like, no one wants to be the team to lose to the Pistons, and they had like 5 wins at the time. The Pistons had 2 wins, so it was like,
I know.
Calm down, buddy.
But he's the best player on the roster, so he led the team to.
Yeah,
he's been. The Wizards have this thing about always having this one guy who looks amazing on the team because the rest of the team is terrible. It's happened literally pretty much my entire life. I think about the year Juwan Howard was there.
Chris Webber.
Like Porzingis last year.
Dude, Porzingis,
Beal.
Remember Wizards Larry Hughes? Problem.
Yeah, he was
a problem. Like he was a problem.
Hey,
Richard Hamilton.
Wait for next season's edition of Jordan Poole.
I know.
Because I'm not going to lie. I feel like there's no way he's not going to go out there and at least average 20 next year. There's no shot he gets worse again. I don't know. Because he'll have games where he drops 30 and he looks amazing, and then next night, 4 points. He's been a lot better since he moved to the bench, but still.
Yeah, it's so funny with him too. Is like Denny Avdia is like, guys, I'm actually good at basketball, I promise. And you're like, oh, okay, sure. And he has this stretch where it's like, oh, he's good at basketball. Okay, cool. Like
every time I turn on a Wizards game, I swear Corey Kispert has 20.
Always.
Tyus Jones has 16 assists and they lost by 25. And
it's like that whole that Angels meme where it's like Shohei Ohtani goes 7 innings and hits 2 home runs. Mike Trout went 4 for 5 and they lost 8-2.
Yeah, literally.
That's the Wizards. But back to the Heat. I think that this is kind of, we're going to preference with, yes, we know this is kind of the thing with them. Schedule's up and down. Detroit 2 games in a row. Obviously, you kind of feel comfortable they can at least get one of those, if not both. Go to Philly, go to Cleveland, come home from New Orleans, Cleveland, Golden State, and Portland, and go to Washington to end the month. But my issue is not necessarily the schedule being beneficial to them, because it certainly is. This is a team that, obviously has no issues and no fear with having pressure on them going into the playoffs. But have you guys watched Miami Heat's offense in the half court? It's putrid. Have you watched their offense in transition? It's putrid.
It's bad.
It's not bad.
Can I ask a question real quick, too? We're only aiming to split with the Pistons now? Damn!
I said should win both, but...
Yeah.
You said maybe win both.
You said maybe win both. Yeah.
I'm that concerned, guys.
You said should split and get one. He said should get one.
I noticed that too, and I was kind of like,
I was like,
I'm very worried.
I was like, they're struggling, but are they 10-55 now? I was like, aren't they still like
what? Watch, they go and lose both of them.
I know.
Tim predicted it.
And then Tim's like, Tim's online a couple days later, like, I'm really worried, guys. really, really worried.
Nah, Butler won't let them lose either of those games. But like,
No.
I don't know if
you
Terry
what?
Rozier's been exactly what they thought he was going to be, what I thought he'd be there. So
I think he would fit better off the bench, to
I
be
do too.
honest with you.
yeah,
I think he's too much of a scorer. Like they're trying to have him be like that Kyle Lowry role, that Gabe Vincent role, and he's too much of a just microwave on offense. Like he needs to be shooting the ball more, in my opinion. Like and have the ball in his hand. He's like off the ball a lot. I don't know. I don't think it really fits well.
yeah, I agree.
Well, the thing is, I mean, like looking at the standings and everything now with the East, the Bulls are
Basically,
they're gonna
guaranteed to be
end
the
up-
9.
they're going to be guaranteed to be in the 9. They're 3.5 back. The Pacers would have to lose a couple to go beyond. I mean, the Heat and the Celtics, that's not going to be great.
Well, they could. I'm not gonna lie. If they do match up with they definitely could pass the Sixers. The Sixers are struggling bad. And then they definitely, if they get the 7 or the 8, they'll have to play. They'll play that game either way, so they could get the 7 as well. And I'm taking them over the Cavs in a first round matchup.
I am
I'm
too.
not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm taking them over the Cavs.
Question for you guys. So I saw that. So Embiid, they're saying, is going to be back now the last week of the season. How much do you think that affects? I mean, he's been out for a really long time. How much do you guys think that affects that team? Do you think he comes in and just steamrolls again, or is that going to be like, are they going to be 1 and out immediately?
I still think depends how healthy he is.
That's what I'm asking.
Like if
That's
you
what
can
I'm
go
asking.
full bore and play like 40 minutes in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that would be. They could. If I mean, Joel Embiid's healthy and they have Tyrese Maxey out there, he's
I
like,
mean,
yeah, they're fine.
What?
There's second round exits for the 8th year in a row.
Yeah,
Like what is fine, Tim? Like second round exits again?
yeah, of course it is.
Because I don't think
That's fine.
I don't think. Yeah, there's not enough. Yeah,
All I'm gonna say is the Heat, in my opinion, in the first round at least, they gotta try and avoid the Bucks or the Celtics because like both those teams are coming for vengeance.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I could see a world where the Celtics lost to the Heat, even though the Celtics are a much better team than the Bucks. I think there is no way in hell Giannis lets that happen 2 years in a row, in my opinion.
No,
Especially
No,
not
Giannis
in
is
that
not
game and.
Giannis is not going to let that happen, and the Heat have matched up really well against the Celtics over the last couple of years. They've had some really good games against them,
You
but
mean the
this
last
year,
decade?
yeah, it's true. It's true. They have. That's true. I'm downplaying it. But
Like
It's like the Heat
maybe
versus
consider about playing the
Pistons.
Pistons. Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, they're going to be coming for blood this year. You don't want to touch the Celtics in the first round this year. It's going to be terrible.
yeah. Agreed.
I'm with you guys.
Yeah, but it's the Miami Heat, and it's like you can never count them out, no matter who's on the team. It's just the structure. Something works there, and I don't know what it is that whatever Pat Riley and this voodoo witchcraft thing him and Eric Spoelstra have going on, it works. It works. So like they're always gonna a threat to win a round or two in the playoffs. They're always a threat to make some sort of miraculous run that you didn't expect them to. I think they've had the most conference finals appearances besides the Warriors since the Heatles. I think that's right. I don't have that right in front of me, but it sounds right.
I'm trying to think, maybe because I know. Wait, like counting LeBron's years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably. Because I was just thinking in my head, the
6.
Celtics haven't the Celtics gone to the conference finals every year of Tatum's career?
Not every year.
It was only 1 year, right?
Yeah.
It was only 1 year. The
his second year. Yeah, his second year when everyone picked him to win the
no,
title.
it's been 2 years then because
they lost to the Heat in the bubble.
No, that was the conference finals.
Oh,
The
okay,
one
yeah.
year they sucked. What was that? 2020, the COVID year, 2020, 2021. That year, they were terrible. They were like the
That's right.
7 or 8 seed and
I
lost to the
forgot about that.
Nets. Got swept by the Nets.
Yeah, because that's the KD.
And then they swept them the next year.
Yeah, that's the KD's shoe is like this close to them playing for the championship.
Yeah, that year.
I remember that. How different Kevin Durant's legacy is if his foot is like just a few inches back, you know? Like,
Yeah, because they win that title.
yeah, they do. Yeah, they freaking smoke all those teams. Yeah, but that's the Heat. We know what's going to happen there. Any other current things you guys want to talk about before we can have some laughter?
I think we need to show love to the Chicago Bulls' best player.
Hell yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That's the only
He's
thing we'll
he's
show
a
love to.
beast. He's a beast. DeMar DeRozan's longevity needs to be studied. I said this before. Like, people don't talk about it enough. He's not aging at all, really.
Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
His skill is getting better.
He passed Elgin Baylor this week in points.
Yeah.
I mean, but DeMar DeRozan legitimately could score 30,000 points in the NBA and be a top 10 all-time leading scorer. And it's just going to be like the biggest, like, all these, like, players and then DeMar DeRozan, 6-time All-Star. Like, it's like, like, he has a legitimate shot to score 30,000 points.
I know he
can do
does.
it.
Yeah, he's already become one of my all-time favorite Bulls in 3 years. Like,
Yep.
it's just
I love watching. If you love basketball, you love watching DeMar DeRozan play basketball. Like, it's so smooth. Everything's just like seems calculated and thought out.
Mid-range god.
Yep.
Yeah, I love watching the mid-range.
Explosive as hell.
Yeah, he's still got some bounce. Like,
Yeah.
and when the game's on the line, bro does not miss. I
Doesn't
swear to
care.
God.
He's not afraid.
The
Hell no.
New Year's
Unless he sees LeBron
Eve-
in the playoffs, then he.
But no
Oh,
one fears
no.
LeBron. Didn't you hear what Shaq said?
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle
whatever.
Lowry definitely
Yeah.
fears LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah, still to this day, the best game I've ever witnessed in person was that New Year's Eve heave where he ended up beating the Pacers on New Year's Eve with that stupid almost between half court. And I mean that was one of the most incredible
And
shots ever.
The next night, he had a buzzer beater to beat the Wizards.
He did it again.
Yeah.
He did it 2 nights in a row. It was incredible. I mean, he is, and that was one of those like I came out of my body because I was like, did that just really happen? Did that just really happen? And they were playing so well that year too.
Yeah, that was
so
the
well.
year. That's right around when Lonzo gets hurt.
Yeah,
and it's
God.
like, dude, I had so much belief in this team. All right, if we're gonna be handing out flowers,
Quick question, real quick. How many years are left on his and Levine's contracts?
This is DeRozan's free agent year.
He is a free agent after this year?
There's no such thing as free agency anymore, though. He's going to re-sign with the Bulls. It's just the contract might get traded.
So my question, because I feel like if they have to re-sign him at this point, they have no other choice.
He's not going anywhere.
So my question then is, for the Bulls next year, since Lonzo's going to be back, it's like official now, right? Like he's spreading
everything, but yeah,
it seems like he's going to be back. So pretty much it's like it's deadline or bust next season. It has to be, right? Like if they're not at least like a top 5 seed at the deadline, they're gonna.
So
you would think though they might be the 9 seed and say we're running it back next year with 36-year-old DeRozan.
Don't put anything past this front office, Parker. Like they will hold on to this team as long as they can.
Because we thought this year was the bust year. So
today, so talking about ownership in front office, Jerry Reinsdorf actually got protested finally today because the White Sox traded Dylan Cease during spring training to the Padres, their best starting pitcher. So finally, Chicagoans went outside Comiskey Park, whatever it's called now, U.S. Cellular, and were like protesting him. So I was like, oh, he doesn't care. But, you know, it's finally starting to show that like there's a thing. But I wanted to say, if we're handing out flowers before we move on our segment, gotta say it, Parker. We've talked shit about him all year. I think D'Angelo Russell deserves some flowers.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He's been pretty darn good.
He has been. He's been really bad the last 2 games, but besides that, he's been amazing.
Dude, that Milwaukee game was crazy.
That was crazy. That was insane. You don't see people take over games like that very often. Like he has the ability But also, I'm not gonna lie. Did you see the article that came out?
Dave
from-
McMenamin's? I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, that is wild. The stuff he said. He pretty much said he hates Darvin Ham in the
Yeah.
article without saying it, which
Did
is
you read
just
this, Sean?
wild.
So
did not.
Dave McMenamin, who like is, my opinion, the best NBA writer in the world. He's unbelievable.
He's the Lakers beat writer, right?
Correct. Yeah, for ESPN. So he has a story come out yesterday on D'Lo, and it more profiles, the 44-point game against the Bucks. Just kind of like how he's been on this run post All-Star break, how he's finally fitting in, how he kind of dealt with like trade rumors and stuff like that. It's a really good article. But he basically says he's like, I was not allowed to talk to Darvin Ham because Darvin Ham had a relationship with Dennis Schroeder. He's like, so that's why I got benched in the playoffs last year for Dennis Schroeder, because I couldn't go to him when I was struggling to say, like, let's do this. And he said that in practice earlier this year, when they put him on the bench, he was coming off the bench, that he like challenged Ham in practice with some of his play calling decisions. And it was like, no, that's not how we're going to do things. And I guess it caused a rift. But one of the things he said in there that was really fascinating, they were talking to Anthony Davis, and they were talking about different things they can do, like to kind of get the offense rolling. And he said that there's one play that they run, and it has 7 different calls, but it's the same play over and over again. So if you're on the defense, they call this, you're like, okay, what are they running? It's just the same play over and over again.
Let me guess, LeBron ISO.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or AD post up.
Yeah, AD post up or Rui Hachimura in the corner. So
yeah, Hachimura kick to the corner,
it is.
drive it.
Yeah.
What else did or this one's crazy too. The LeBron Rui pick and roll. If they switch, dump it off to Rui with the point guard on him. That's his other. That's the other one.
That's the other one. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They are the best bad team of all time.
They really are, man.
Because I will not be surprised one bit if they are in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, if they win
also
around.
won't be- if they're in, I'm gonna expect them to win a round. If they're
I
not
do
playing
too.
the Nuggets, if they're playing anybody but the Nuggets, I'm gonna expect them to win a round.
Especially like we talked about last week. If they play OKC, they're just gonna body
But
Chet the whole time. And
this season, they've owned the Clippers, they've owned the Thunder.
basically
and they
anyone that's
beat the
not the
Timberwolves.
Kings
They split with the Timberwolves. They
basically-
don't want the Kings.
or the Nuggets. That's it.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't hate the Kings in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Even though they don't terrify me in the playoffs. But it is very, if you're rooting against the Kings, it's very annoying to watch Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox. And I'm a Kentucky fan.
Always.
Oh my God, they're so fast and they just get to their spot every freaking time.
Especially considering that Malik Monk was a Laker for a year. And like
Yeah,
that's how he
yeah.
like got his legs
That's how
underneath him
he
again.
got contract. That's how he got some money.
Yeah.
The quick question I have, just since we're just talking about whatever for the current topic, is De'Aaron Fox, when he's hot, the best player in the NBA? Like
Feels
when
like
that
it.
15-foot jump shot is going, because he gets to his spot every single time. It's just if it goes in or not.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question while we're talking about it. What's up
And
with your
so is
Kentucky
Spencer
boys not
Dinwiddie.
sticking with Nike? What's with them signing with crappy shoe companies?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I
we
don't
need
know.
to
You got Tyrese Maxey on New Balance, Jamal Murray on New Balance,
Fox
Shea
is on
Converse,
Under Armour.
Shea Converse.
I mean, at least Converse and Nike are the same company. You
At
know what
least
I mean?
D Book and AD or Nike.
Bam's Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he is.
I don't
Jordan.
understand how you can go to Kentucky and not have a Nike shoe deal. Like how you could just be like, this was cool for a year, but I don't want it. Like you get whatever
Literally.
you want. Like every shoe you can think of. That's like they'll make it for you in the factory if you're like, I want these Jordan.
Drake gives you like all his OVO and Nocta brand shoes, literally.
Yeah. Did you go to Rupp?
Nah, I didn't. I saw him in Columbus though, a month ago. That
Oh,
was
nice.
so fun. Did you see the picture he posted? That was
Yeah.
funny.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, all his teammates left him.
Yeah, I did like that. All right, dudes. So for the flashback, I was just thinking of something that we could just kind of do and like kind of just reminisce and get some kicks out of. And this is the era that was the Charlotte Bobcats. So take it back real quick, just so everyone kind of understands. So obviously the Charlotte Hornets go to New Orleans in 02, 01 or 02. I can't remember the exact year. Shortly after Charlotte's announced to get an expansion team. As you expect, Charlotte is a basketball town. North Carolina is a basketball state. They need to have a pro team there. I'm all for it. New Orleans is still carrying the moniker of the Hornets at the time, which is as funny as the Jazz being in Utah for obvious reasons. There's no such thing as that in Utah because they don't play music there. Haven't you seen Footloose? It's basically the same thing. And so they're like, well, we need to think of a name for the Charlotte basketball team. Like, we have the Carolina Panthers, so I guess we could just go with the Charlotte Bobcats. No one says no to this. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, sure. Okay, sure. Why not? Yeah, that's good.
I mean, when they announced that, I just remember thinking to myself, "Oh my god, this is gonna be bad."
It
And then the
felt like
logo came out,
yeah.
then the jerseys came out, and I was like, "Bad, bad,
Oh,
bad,
those
bad."
jerseys are so bad.
Do you remember an NBA
Oh.
Live?
When I
when you
think
would
of the
make
Bobcats, all I think of is Gerald Wallace and Corey Maggette. That's what I think of.
Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't bury the lead, Parker. So do you remember like in the old NBA games when you would make expansion teams, there'd be like generically built teams? That's
Yeah.
what this team felt like.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was. It was
Yeah.
just like that.
And then weren't they throwing like max contracts at like Ben Gordon?
No. Here's what I was
Oh.
gonna say. So before the NBA draft lottery, they have an expansion draft like most teams do. And I honestly thought, like, when I look back, they did really well at the expansion draft. So they got like Jason Capono, and they got
What year is this?
This is like 04.
What was that when they became a franchise?
That was the year that they were first able to put a roster together. Yeah.
So, quick question, because I would have been one. Was there
Right.
28 teams at the time?
29.
29?
29.
29.
So,
So
there was
New
only
Orleans
14
was
teams
still
in the East?
New
Or no,
Orleans
New Orleans was in the East?
They were in the East at the time, yeah. So they
So there
moved
was
into the West
14
when
in the
Charlotte
West?
came in.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So here's what
Yep.
here's what the Bobcats did in the expansion draft. Like I said, I was kind of shocked by how well they did. So Lonnie Baxter, J.R. Brewer, Maurice Carter, Desmond Ferguson, Marcus Fizer, Brandon Hunter, Jason Capono, Zaza Pachulia, Gerald Wallace was a part of it, but what they did was they took like 4 or 5 guys that they traded immediately to get extra picks. I was like, oh, clever. I like it. But also found it hilarious that even though they had never played an NBA game, they weren't given the first pick. It was like, well, you guys are part of this, so you have to play by the rules of everybody else. And so they did not win the lottery for the 2004 draft, which, Sean, you remember very well as much as I have. We've talked about this in the past. The Emeka or Dwight conversation was not a heavy one side or the other. Like, that was a real question until the moment Orlando makes the pick.
Yeah, nobody knew what was going to happen on that draft. It was going to be one or the other.
Like, Emeka was so good at UConn, and I mean, realistically, if you look at his numbers, had a really good NBA career.
Him and Ben Gordon, man.
Yeah, just the neck injury really just put him out. Like, I mean, he had a really good NBA career for a while.
Emeka Okafor, that's somebody like I looked up his stats one day and I was shocked. Him and like Al Jefferson. I was like,
Emeka Okafor is
another Bobcat superstar right there.
Yeah.
Or was he a Hornets only?
No, Al Jefferson was a Bobcat.
Yeah, he was a Bobcat.
Yeah, he was part of the transition.
Yeah, he buried his career there.
So
he was 20-10 every year on those Bobcat squads.
Yep. And so what happened from there is obviously they drafted Emeka Okafor. He wins Rookie of the Year his first year and should have. He was, the only thing to be excited about from that team.
Yeah.
For a bit there. And then the next year, 05, they draft Raymond Felton and Sean May. They wanted to keep the North Carolina Tar Heels in North Carolina. And I think Sean May played 3 years in the league.
Yeah, who is Sean May? I don't know.
Oh, dude, he was like a problem at North Carolina.
Oh my God, Parker! Like, I mean, when I remember when they got him, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great.
Yeah,
this is gonna be great for Charlotte." And like, he just dropped off,
dude. Most games he played in a season was 37.
Oh, I know who this is. I know who this is. Actually, I've seen him. I know who this is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
he was a problem.
Year 3 is the Adam Morrison pick.
Oh.
So drafting was not their specialty.
I do know who that is.
Yeah. This team had 1 winning record throughout their entirety before they switched over, and it is obviously most well known because this is when Michael Jordan's ownership is involved. As when LeBron has the fast break in the playoffs, staring Michael Jordan down as he throws a dunk down. which is like a moment you see all the time when you see like Heat, like
Yeah.
LeBron's greatest
Oh,
moments.
I forgot they lasted that long. I was thinking they ended in like 2012. They did go till 2014, right?
Yeah. So they do draft Kemba Walker, obviously, who was like the best player to ever play for the Charlotte NBA franchise, however you
Yeah.
want to count that history.
Yep.
And their last draft pick, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Ooh.
Yeah. And if you remember, the second year they were the Hornets, they beat the Dwayne Wade Heat in the first round of the playoffs. So immediately they changed back to where they should be, and
They
immediately
did. I forgot about that.
and immediately they win games. But
The
Larry
crazy
Brown,
thing too is Kid Gilchrist was like a solid player for like his first 3 or 4 seasons, and then after that he just fell off a cliff because he
Yeah.
was so damn good defensively. He was so damn good defensively. He was a good passer. He just couldn't shoot.
this is the story of everyone involved with the Charlotte Bobcats. Is well, this guy was all right, but this is their inaugural roster. This is Nelly. So they won 18 games, which is actually for your inaugural season not bad.
No.
Corey Alexander, Malik Allen, Keith Bogans, Primoz Bregic, Matt Carroll, Melvin Eli, Jason Hart, Eddie House, Jason Capono, Brevin Knight, Emeka Okafor, Bernard Robinson, Kareem Rush, former Laker, Jamal Sampson, Tamar Slay, Steve Smith, Theron Smith, Gerald Wallace, and Jahidi White.
I
Now-
can't believe Steve
how-
Smith was there, and I can't believe that there was one other guy you just mentioned. Brevin Knight. I couldn't believe Brevin Knight was there too. Like I thought he was retired by then.
How many of these are 2K generated players? Like seriously, that's how they sound.
Yeah, you're right. Like it's like the random white bald guys they put at the end of the bench, and they don't have enough guys for the all-time rosters.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the next year, basically the same exact roster except for Ray Felton, Jermaine Jones, Sean May come in, and then so their playoff team was. Let's see. Oh yeah, Larry Brown was the coach of the team that went to the playoffs in 2009, 2010. That's when
Tyrese
they got
Thomas.
DJ. Yeah, they had Tyrese Thomas. They got DJ Augustine, who actually
Yeah,
had a
he's
really,
good.
really good
He was
NBA
good.
career. They had Zagana Diop, Boris Diaw, Larry Hughes, Steven Jackson, Nazi Muhammad, Theo Ratliff, and Tyrese Thomas to go with Gerald Wallace. That team was good.
Yeah,
Those
I
some
forgot
tough
about
dudes.
Steven Jackson on the Hornets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just overall, on AC Law was on the team, college basketball legend, not so good
Mhm.
NBA player, AC Law.
Mhm.
But just looking at this team with their draft history, their win-loss records, I don't know if you can count this as anything more than just the most debacle of a failure of an NBA team. Also, the lowest single season win percentage of any team because during the lockout year, they went like 9-53.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Trash team.
yeah.
Trash franchise.
Yeah, it was. I always like growing up, like just thought their uniforms and stuff were so ugly.
They were
too.
terrible.
They
Like
were.
not just they were bad, but like, and then they upgrade to, in my opinion, nice uniforms. The Hornets, I like those when those first came out, and I still like them to this day. So they definitely remodeled well. But what year? My question is, what year did the Hornets become the Pelicans to make that name available? Was it 2013, 2014?
Yeah.
Because it was Davis. Davis played
Davis's
one
rookie
year.
year, he was a Hornet.
Yeah, he was a Hornet. Yeah.
Yeah, because David West and Chris Paul were Hornets.
And I remember the Pelicans. I hated those uniforms as well when they became the Pelicans.
Yeah, I did too. I like the purple NOLA ones. Those are cool, but like
Those
everything
were
else,
cool.
yeah, I hate
Their
it.
ones now aren't horrible, but their original ones were pretty bad.
I just thought it was so funny because the history, like, of everything was so weird. Where it was like, oh yeah, Emeka Okafor was also traded to the New Orleans Hornets for Tyson Chandler.
Yeah.
Ugh,
So
that's so
it's like
confusing.
another weird, like,
So confusing.
yeah.
Well, here's another fun tidbit you guys might not have known, and I was just reading this because I did not know about. But May 2005, the Bobcats reportedly spurned an opportunity to trade up to the number 5 pick in the 2005 NBA draft to land Chris Paul.
No way.
Yeah. Like everything was like connected with
Yeah.
those two. But it's funny because, like, they've changed their name back to the Hornets, and nothing's really changed.
Nope.
I mean, just cooler logo, better history.
Do they have a better history? Does this Hornets?
They've won a playoffs round, so that's all they got.
Yeah, they've won one.
Yeah.
But like, how many times have they been to the playoffs? Like twice?
Yeah, I think so.
They did go to the play-in
With
LaMelo's
LaMelo.
first 2 years.
Yep.
His first 2 years. But since then, they've been horrible his next 2 years.
Yeah, I do like how I like their upside. I think Brandon Miller is going to be a dude. Like he's really good.
LaMelo just needs to stay healthy. He hasn't really played any games the last 2 years.
So
He's
talking
still
about
young.
the transition, I remember back when the day Sean knows about this site very well called Ball Streams, and it was a fantastic tool on the internet.
Amazing
for those of us who could not afford NBA League Pass back in the day. And there was one time they basically showed the League Pass feed where it's like when the game goes to commercial on the broadcast, you still see what's going on in the arena. So I'm watching it, and like this has been announced that next year they're gonna be the Charlotte Hornets. So this is like the last year of the Bobcats, and it's like, is everyone excited to be the Hornets next year? And there's probably like, it looks like there's like 40 people in the arena, like
40 people are amped.
right? Like, let's go, woo, yeah, like hooray team. And it's like, you can tell like no one wants to be there. They probably got free tickets from work or something.
Free work tickets.
Yeah, like the work had season tickets. And they can't get people to take them, kind of thing. But it was just a travesty of a situation. Sean May. So okay, let me go through.
Sean May. Tyrese Thomas. After the
Thomas.
Bulls realized Tyrese Thomas was a bust.
Bro, the Bulls amnestied Tyrese Thomas. Okay,
Did Kwame Brown play for them at one point? For some reason, I'm feeling like he played for them. I don't know.
I'm
why.
sure he did. Like
Kwame.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel it in my bones. He played there.
Yeah.
He played there.
So here's the draft history. So 2004, Mecca before we talked about that, number 2 overall. 2005, Raymond Felton at 5, Sean May at 13, like we talked about. Right after Sean May was So that was the year North Carolina had 4 guys going to the lottery, which was like a record at the time before obviously the Kentucky runs. Jason Maxiell also taken the first round of that draft by the Pistons. 2006 is Adam Morrison at 3 overall. So he was taking over Tyrese Thomas, Brandon Roy, Randy Foy, Rudy Gay, JJ Redick, Thabo Cephalosha, Ronnie Brewer, like a pretty decent draft. 07, they take Brendan Wright, also of North Carolina. Noticing a trend here, guys?
MJ thought he was finding the next version of him.
Yeah. 08, they take DJ Augustine. Ended up being a really good pick. I mean, the year DJ Augustine was a Bull.
What pick was he, though? What pick was he?
DJ Augustine was the 9th pick. So he was picked after Eric Gordon. But
is that a really good pick for the 9th pick? I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like a career backup point guard, like solid.
Yeah.
But like, I don't feel like DJ Augustine was ever really on like a good team. Maybe the Bulls.
Yeah, he was on a good Bulls team for that 1 year.
Yeah.
They had an okay Orlando team there for a year. And the year he was in Indiana, they were good.
Yeah, that's true. I just feel like a lot of times DJ Augustine was like the starting point guard on the 20-win squad.
Yeah, to put in context, George Hill was taken late in that draft. They could have got George Hill, and that probably would have been about the same.
Yeah.
So the Blake Griffin draft, they did not have a pick.
Where the hell did
No. I'm sorry, they did. They took Gerald Henderson at 12th.
That wasn't. Gerald Henderson had a few highlights.
Yeah.
He used to throw down dunks from Kemba.
He went to
Yeah.
Duke, though.
Yeah, he did.
He went to Duke. So
Sean goes, yeah, I remember those highlights. The Gerald
I remember him.
Henderson.
I was there. I was there.
it was 2010. They did not have a pick at all in the draft.
Can you allow me to share my screen? I have information for us.
Sure enough.
Kwame Brown sidelined 4 to 6 weeks on the Bobcats. Told you. I was like, I remember him in that jersey at one point.
So 2011 was Kemba Walker. 2012 was Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. So
shout out Kwame Brown being in the NBA.
Shout out Kwame Brown.
That's actually crazy. He
years,
played
man.
that's actually insane. He lasted that long. How?
He famously told Doug Collins, "If you draft me number 1, you'll never regret it." narrator. He did regret it.
He very much regretted
it.
He regretted it badly.
That's awesome. What a weird time in the NBA. So now they're talking about all these expansion teams. And the places like Vegas, Seattle, obviously have come up quite a bit. I still stand by Louisville should be on the list
Absolutely.
because it is a basketball town. The Yum Center can very easily be an NBA arena. It's beautiful.
Bring back the Colonels, baby.
Where do you think Louisville would play then?
I think they'd split it. I mean, just like St. John's plays at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that's true. I completely forgot
We
about
could
that.
swing it.
That is true.
But granted,
you can't put a team in Lexington.
no,
Kentucky,
absolutely
too.
not.
It's too much a college basketball town. That wouldn't
Right.
work. So if you're gonna put one in Kentucky, it's gotta be Louisville.
Yeah, and I don't think Rupp could handle having an NBA arena just because of how old it is. And
yeah, it's attached to a dead mall.
yeah, I'll never forget. It took Sean and I had to go down and work an event down there. And I was like, oh, let's go to the Chinese place. And it was not there anymore. And I was like, what happened? They're like, he got deported. I was like, oh, okay.
I just love that, like, my first experience there was, I'm like, you're like talking up this Chinese place that's in this dead mall, this sad mall. And I'm like,
are you talking about the mall like in Rupp?
Yeah.
Like the shopping center in Rupp?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
And we ended up, and their internet was terrible. And I just remember looking at Tim and I'm like, I'm sorry. So this is the mecca of basketball?
I say this all the time, and I'm a diehard Kentucky fan. It's not that great of an atmosphere. It really isn't. Like, it's
all old
packed.
people.
It's always packed, but like the student, it's not. It's like it gives off like we're better than everybody. We don't need a student section. Like we're gonna win anyways. Type like the students need to be on the floor. Like even at Cameron Indoor, they're right there and stuff. Like
oh, dude, Cintas Center has like one of the most fun student
Cintas
sections
Center is
ever.
sick. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's awesome.
Even that. Actually, I don't know anymore. Did you see what happened?
Yeah.
They kicked out the what do they call themselves? The stormtroopers.
Yeah.
The dudes from Barstool that like storm the courts every time. They got kicked. Well, that wasn't the students though. That students were trying to keep them there. Security kicked them out. They were in the front of the student section.
Rupp is definitely not Allen Fieldhouse. It's definitely not Kansas. Like it's just
no. It's just too like it's like you're watching a play.
Right.
like it's just not. It's not that great an atmosphere.
I agree. I completely agree. All right, so let's draft, shall we?
Let's.
All right. So this is Parker's draft. This is the draft of pre-merger selected NBA players. So this is pre-1976. So they entered the league by then. And it's going to be probably actually a pretty decent amount of talent. Take some people we're probably going to take some people I don't really like very much, but that's okay. So,
and also we have watched countless hours of film on all of these guys.
We've played with all of these people in video games. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. Like,
yeah, we know some of these guys from 2K mainly.
Yeah, like video games told us everything we need to know about some of these fools. So, all right.
Exactly. JJ Redick would not approve of this draft either.
Yeah. No, nor should he. So I had number 1 last week, so I go to the 3rd pick. Sean moves. Sean, did you have 2 or 3 last week?
He had 2.
Wait,
no, I had 2. I had 2.
I had 2. Yeah.
So Sean's 2, Parker. So Parker starts. Parker, Sean, me. All right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. The first pick is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Easy.
Yeah.
I feel like that was way too easy.
I mean,
way too easy.
Will, I was tempted a little bit with Will, but Kareem's the pick.
Yep. All right. I hate doing this. I hate doing it. I'm going Bill Russell.
Cool. All right.
No.
I will...
Not cool.
It's boring. It's boring.
It's boring. Should have been the pick.
He's a fantastic number 2 option though.
What was the guy from last week? What was the guy from
Wayne Embry?
Wayne Embry. He should have been drafted.
Hey, he might come up here.
Yeah. Say, I got all right, so I'll go 2 weeks in a row. I'll take him. We'll take Oscar. Right. And then I'll go Wilt.
Yeah, his team's winning.
All right. just because I hate myself, Jerry West.
All right, I'm gonna go Elgin Baylor, and then we need a point guard, and we need a winner on this team. So we're taking the janitor or plumber, whatever JJ Redick called him himself, Bob Cousy.
Dumb pick. You know
Dumb pick.
why?
He's a
Tim
bum.
could beat him.
I could beat
Tim
him.
could beat him.
Yeah. Tim could beat him. I forgot.
Currently, right now, he could beat him.
Try to guard me in a pick and roll, Kuzi.
Cousy.
Yeah, watch me set a screen, dog.
All right.
You'll
Is it my
snap his
turn?
ankles when he's in his Converse. Wait, would he even be wearing Converse then?
Barely. Probably the first ones.
That's what would they be Chuck Taylors back then?
Yeah. Certainly would not be weapons.
Yeah, no, that's what I was. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean.
right, well,
it's your turn.
I need a center. I already got my power forward and point guard. I'm going way back.
Of course.
All
you are.
right. Because I'm a menace like that.
I think I know who he's taken.
No, you don't. You don't.
Oh.
So I'm going with the man that once read on the marquee his name versus the New York Knicks. I'm going George Mikan.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think we took all the best.
The GOAT of the first 10 years of the NBA.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Also, he created the 3-point line. Fun fact.
he did.
Because he was the commissioner of
I
the
did
ABA.
not know that. I did not know
Yeah.
that.
That was him.
All right, so I'm going to take, to put next to Wilt, I'm going to take former Cincinnati Royal / Chicago Bull, Bob Love. It's a
Ooh.
little under the radar pick.
Deep cut.
Yeah.
Cut.
Jersey
All right.
hanging up at the United Center. Should be
Yeah.
hanging up at the Cincinnati Gardens, but it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And I need a guard to put with Oscar. So I'm going to stick with the Bulls. And I'm going to also take the former Baltimore Bullet turned Chicago Bull turned Utah Jazz coach against the Bulls in the finals, Jerry Sloan.
That's good.
I don't know what I'm doing in this draft, guys.
I don't know what I am doing. I'm gonna
Do
kinda
any of us know what we're doing?
I'm gonna slightly break a little bit of a rule just because of the height at the time and everything, and But I'm gonna take from my number 3. I'm gonna put him in there just because he's a swing big, Mr. Bob Pettit.
Nice.
Yep.
To pair with Kareem, we'll slide Kareem to the 4. I'm going to put Bill Walton at center.
The last white American to get drafted number 1 overall.
Yeah, that might change this year. Could.
It very well might.
They have, some places have him as the number 1 pick.
I know.
Which is wild how bad the draft is. Don't get me wrong. He's a great, great player. But I still think there's a chance he stays in college, honestly, to be honest. But all right, with my next pick and my final pick, I'm going to go Hondo Havlicek.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is going to get nuts here. Let's see here.
It's going to get nuts.
This is going to get nuts here. Hold on just a second. Just so we know. All right. So I have, I believe, one pick left.
Yep.
So I'm going with one of the greatest New York Knicks of all time, a man who has graced the mini boxes of Just for Men over the years.
Nice.
I'm taking Walt Frazier.
Perfect.
And still the Knicks announcer at 80 years old.
So just so we're clearing this up, Jerry West, Walt Frazier, Pettit, Russell, Mikan. That's a team, guys.
That team might score 75 points.
Yeah, and they'll lock your ass down.
I got Cousy and Bill Walton passing. I just realized none of us took somebody that we should have taken. Actually, was he drafted
I'm on the
before that?
I have the last pick, so
Oh, yeah.
maybe it's probably not the person you're thinking of.
I don't think it is.
Again, I definitely have no idea what I'm doing here, but I need a wing to go with my Jerry Sloan, Bob Love, Oscar Robinson, Will Chamberlain team. I'm taking Cliff Hagan of the St. Louis Hawks.
Your team's not winning shit, Tim.
Yeah, that team's not scoring 65.
I just want you to know that.
I was gonna say nobody drafted Pistol Pete. That's actually a guy that
He's
probably had the skill to play later on down the line.
bum. Who'd he beat?
He was more skilled than Kuzi.
Kalen Clark broke
That's
his
true.
record.
Yeah, that's true. Caleb Clark broke his record.
I mean, he's
alright.
definitely like he. I don't even was he. Did they leave him out of the 75 greatest players? Was he bumped?
I think he
Nah, I
was.
think
They
he was
didn't bump anybody out.
Yeah,
I
no
don't
one was
think.
bumped from the
Okay.
50. They just added
Okay.
25 more.
Okay.
I have a
One of them
random
was not
question,
Dwight Howard.
but Tim brought that up, so I gotta ask this: Why do we keep making a new record for her to break?
I don't know.
Like, why are we comparing her? Like she broke Steph Curry's 3 record. It's a different sport. That's like legitimately. That's like comparing Aaron Judge's 8 home runs away from the Japanese record. Like it's like I don't understand this, to be honest with you.
I do love Caitlin Clark. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
lie.
but nope, they're not gonna
There'll be
do
no
that. I love
slander.
her too.
There'll be no
She's
slander.
awesome. She's awesome.
Don't
Like,
backtrack.
No, I'm not slandering her. I'm just saying the media is making up stupid records for her to break. That
Well,
are
I mean, it gets clicks and everything. I mean,
yeah.
it is huge that she's she has more points scored than
No,
Pistol
she's
Pete,
good.
but it's a different league. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Pistol Pete didn't have threes, and I'm so sick of if he had threes, he'd have been the all-time leading scorer conversation because no, he wouldn't have.
No,
The game was too slow at that point to where it is now to like become close to LeBron and Curry.
What was Pistol Pete? Yeah, Pistol Pete was averaging like during his prime about 27 a game on average.
Yeah.
Per year.
Mhm.
And he retired at 32. So
Well, Sean, you're the first pick in next week's draft. It's March Madness week. You have anything fun in the thought process?
Ooh, now that you say that and you put that on there. All right. Yeah, let's do best players to ever play in a Final Four.
Oh,
Go.
are we talking
Opens it
about
up.
their NBA career or college career?
No, college.
Okay, cool.
dude,
So
that's a good draft.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I just thought of like 20 people right away.
Yeah,
I'm
so
like
did I.
gonna number one. I'm just gonna be like, all right, Purvis Ellison.
You know what I think a draft should be eventually?
What's that?
What?
First year of the NBA draft. The
Well,
1946 draft from the best players from the 46 season.
We're gonna be on like we're gonna have like those like 1980s like electronic encyclopedias where we're like looking up old players from the 40s. And, all right, how many games did this guy play? Well,
what year did Mike join the league? Was he there the inaugural year? That's the only person we know, I feel like, from like the 40s.
I just drafted Cliff Hagan, sir.
Was there any leagues before the NBA? There had to have been, right?
I think there was. There was a lot. There was a lot of barnstorm leagues.
Oh, we could do like an ABA draft. Actually, that would actually be a good draft.
I could take Cliff Hagan on too.
Guys, we're doing March Madness next week.
Oh no, yeah, next week. I'm just thinking. I'm brainstorming
Best
out here.
players to play in a Final Four. Man, I am. Oof, that's a good one because
There's a lot of good players.
that means Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan are in this draft.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, but I don't even know. I don't think Jordan should be picked though. Honestly, if we're just basing it off them in college.
Time will tell, Parker. Time will tell.
come on, Parker. What are you talking about?
I mean, he was damn good, but there's better
The
college
shot.
players.
Hashtag not Parker's goat.
Yeah, no.
We love.
I got it.
Love with that.
I'm not Skip Bayless though. Got him at 9. He's got LeBron. I got Jordan. Nah, he's 2. He's 2.
All right, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this week's edition of NBA Friday, part of the Riverfront Media Network. If you're checking us out on YouTube and you have not subscribed to us already, what are you doing? Click the button. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. If you're checking us out on your podcast app of choice and have not left us a review, what are you doing? It's like a minute. It's like a minute. And if you're not a member of our Patreon, it's $2 a month. It's like skip McDonald's one time. I don't know. Is that what Dave Ramsey tells the loser people to do?
Yeah, he said we should all stop getting our $6 coffee and we should start making 99-cent sandwiches, which is I'm thinking the guy from Shark Tank. The guy from Shark Tank is saying that. He's like 99-cent sandwiches. I'm like, how could you make a 99-cent sandwich?
Yeah, where do
tell
you
me
get
how
sandwich?
where do you get
Bread's $2.50. Like,
yeah.
They used
What are we doing?
they used to have those Dollar McChickens, man. Back in-
what a time, man. But with that being said, we're gonna go and wrap this up. On behalf of Parker and Shime, this is Tim Daniel. Have a good night, everybody.